What's going on, guys? It's Oliver Slow, Blue Line Futures, coming to you from the Chicago Board of Trade with another episode of the 2-Minute Drill. Today is Monday, November 25th, and before we get into today's prices and headlines, I do want to remind you, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, head over to youtube.com, search Blue Line Futures, and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Now that we got that out of the way, we can hop into what was moving today. And it was a bit of a mixed bag in the grain markets. We saw March corn down 2 1/4 cents, 4.33. January soybeans, the opposite of that, up 2 1/4, 9.85 3/4 was the settlement there. And over on March Chicago wheat, the anchor 9 cents lower, settling at 5.55 3/4. Headlines today, there were a few, nothing extremely market moving, but there were a few. We got planting progress out of Brazil. Soybean planting has advanced to 86%, and weather is going to continue to be extremely important as we look to the end of the year and beyond down there. We do update weather forecasts on our site via our South American dashboard, so if you have not had an opportunity to check that out, you can head over to Blue Line Futures and get your access there. Other news, flash sale this morning, 454,000 metric tons of U.S. corn sold to Mexico, 365,000 of that for marketing year 2024-2025, and the remaining 89,000 for marketing year 25-26. Weekly export inspections for corn, 903,000 metric tons, soybeans 2.1 million metric tons, and wheat 360,000 metric tons, all of those within the range of expectations. Now, moving over to the livestock side of things, it was a roller coaster, and it really started with a big shot higher in the early morning trade on the back of some headlines. We'll get into those headlines here in a bit, but want to recap these closing prices. February live cattle futures down 50 cents to 187.70. Today's high 190.05. So that was well off of that early morning high. Over on the feeder cattle side of things, we saw the January feeder cattle contract at $1.17 higher to 255.47. The high this morning, 259.52. So that was nearly $4 off of the opening high. And over on the snout side, we saw the February lean hog contract 25 cents higher to 85.92. The big headline that really came out Friday and really didn't get a whole lot of traction until early this morning was news from Mexico. The United States had temporarily paused imports of Mexican cattle after a case of New World screwworm was identified. Those are maggots that often enter through an open wound and feed on living flesh of warm-blooded animals, including people. This overshadowed what was largely interpreted as a little bit of a bearish cattle on feed report on Friday, so that sent the market sharply higher this morning, but some of that optimism and premium subsided into the afternoon, and it kind of makes you wonder if that headline that came out on Friday, how many people knew about that headline in advance. Not saying that it was a large number or it's some sort of conspiracy, but things take time to play out. They didn't just find this on Friday. They probably found it earlier in the week and were discussing what were the appropriate steps to take next, and didn't release a final and official statement until Friday afternoon. So, theoretically, you could make the case that somebody had some news ahead of other people on that front. Nonetheless, not a great close if you're bullish this market, especially with the funds position as long as they are across the board in the cattle complex and lean hogs. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this week's price action plays out. So that's going to be really important. It's not how you open, it's how you close. And with today's close, I'd say it tips the ball into the bear's court into tomorrow's trade, and that could all change. We'll see. Lastly, it's a holiday week. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. That's going to be on Thursday. Grain and livestock markets will be closed. We will have a hard open on Friday morning, 8:30 Central Time, same time as usual for both of those markets. If you have any questions at all about some of our daily commentary or just markets in general, feel free to reach out. My direct line, 312-837-3938, or you can email oliver@bluelinefutures.com. Remember, trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors.